Okay, I think we're good. I hope you can hear me. If you can, just let me know. If you can't, let me know. My name is Susan. Welcome to Slangela Designs. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let's see. Oh, I better bring up that. All right, got my tea. It's been a busy week. We were away. We just got back yesterday. It's yeah, I am live. Don't feel like it right now. I'm just exhausted, but we're live. I have some yarn to show you that I got while we were away. Ended up having to buy another suitcase while we were away because everything that was bought wouldn't fit. So coming back, my carry-on was literally all yarn. Oops. And the worst part is I could have bought more, but I'll tell you about that when we get to that part. So this past week, we went to Montreal. We're from the east coast of Canada, so we went to Montreal. We had friends and family that lived there, and there was an event that we were all going to. As there was a bunch of us. We had bought the tickets a while ago, so we were going up for that, and we decided we'd make a trip out of it to stay and visit friends and family and sightseeing and shopping and all that. Interesting thing I found out. I wanted to go to some yarn stores. I wanted to go to Michael's and I wanted to go to Walmart. I know pretty much everywhere you go, there's a Walmart or Michael's, but I wanted to see what they had compared to ours, because as you've heard me say, our Walmart yarn section, they may as well not have one, because what they do have, they only have like one or two balls or skeins, and it's very limited supply. Our Michael's is pretty good. It's usually fairly well stocked. I wanted to compare and just see, because we are where I currently am, it's the smallest province in Canada. So we don't have what I thought was a lot of options. And we have a few kind of like specialty yarn shops. But I wanted to see, like, outside of the province, just what the options were. So when researching some of the places to go to when we were there, like, because we were trying to plan, we'll go this section of Montreal, we'll do all the stuff we had figured out for around there, go to this section. That way we weren't bouncing all over the place. So oddly enough, all the yarn shops I was looking to go to that did like hand-dyed yarn and like the more higher end yarn are all closed on Monday. Every one of them. It's like they came to an agreement together. And guess which day was typically going to be the easiest for me to try to get to some of the places I wanted to go to? Monday. They weren't open. So I did find, so I'm like, okay, we have some time on Tuesday, because we had plans at lunch on Tuesday. We had plans at dinner on Tuesday, and we were coming home yesterday. And so I'm like, where can I go? And so I kind of did a little bit more looking into some of the places that were open and where they were and all this other stuff. And I kept going back to one. And I'm going to do a whole separate video for this one. Just talking about the store, and I had a great chat with the owner, Clara. And it's funny, I messaged her today because we were probably in that store, at least an hour. And we were having a great chat. And then we left, and I'm like, I didn't get her name. We were talking like we'd known each other for I don't know how long, and I'm like, I didn't catch her name. Hey, Poppycat, welcome to the stream. So the place we went to, I don't know if this is reversed or not, it's called Witchcraft au Fil du Temps. Now, my French is terrible, so I apologize for that. So that was the yarn store I went to once we found where it was and that. And it is such a cute little shop. And she knows her stuff in and out like crazy about yarn. And when I said to her, she's like, oh, you're not from here, because I wasn't speaking French. First time. What's my favorite project? I love doing blankets, but I also am huge into knitting sweaters. So I've got multiple projects on the go. What's yours? What kind of things do you like to do? Like I do crocheting and I do knitting, so I kind of do both. So anyway, the little store, so neatly laid out, so organized. She talked, like she could explain where each yarn was from, where they got their wool from, who dyed it, like, you know, the whole process. Like it was amazing. And then she's like, we got talking about where I was from, and she goes, oh, we have the McCausland wool over here. And she goes, that's from where you're from. I'm like, exactly. So, but I'll show you, like, I wanted to get a few different things because one of the things I want to do, like sometimes these specialty yarns are more on the pricey side. And so by the time you get enough to make like a full project, you could be looking at almost a couple of $100 to get enough of the yarn. So I was like, but what if you got the yarn that you liked, but you mixed it with like a value yarn, made it go a little further. So I'll explain all that in a few minutes, but something that I'm going to try to do going forward and make like a tutorial out of it, like when it comes to making like a cardigan or something like that, and something maybe with a little bit of color work. I'll show you that. When we went to Michael's, I was surprised to see that their yarn section was smaller than here. They still had a good stock of it all, but it was smaller. Like here, I think we had the same variety and stuff, but like instead of just being 2 rows of, say, Lion Brand Pound of Love, they had maybe 2 rows there. Here at home, we've got like a whole half of a wall almost. So they seem to stock things better here. They still had the variety, but if you were looking to maybe get, say, you needed 10 skeins of a Simply Soft or something, they may not have had 10 skeins. They had very limited. The selection was the same, but limited quantities, I guess is the better way to put it. So I was surprised at that because I figured, you know, we're in a lot bigger city, and it was the only Michael's. Well, we still had to drive. It was close to half an hour away from where we were downtown. So to me, that's kind of like out of the way. But that was the only Michael's really within the area we were in. So if you were looking to get something from Michael's, you'd have to kind of go out of your way to get it or have it delivered. It just seemed, I was surprised. I thought our Walmart yarn department was bad. Apparently our yarn department at Walmart is quite good. It's not saying much. There was not even a full row at the Walmart in Montreal where we were. And I think we were in Laval for this one. So that was kind of surprising too. Not much. They had some of the bitty stripes and stuff, but again, if you needed quite a few skeins, you were out of luck because I think there was two of the one of the colors, maybe 2 or 3 of another one, and not organized, all over the place. Was not that impressed. So I was like, but when we were at Michael's, I did buy a few things. And I don't know if I have the other yarn overboard. Just one sec. Got it. When we were there at Michael's, I got some, it's called Sweet Cakes. And this is in the color Water Park. So if I hold it back, I think the light's a little bit bright for it. It's got like blues and greens, and it's it looks like it's a dark gray on the camera, but it's kind of a bluish gray. And there's white, and it looked really pretty. And I thought this, I got 3 cakes of it. Because we had some sweetie cakes here, but we didn't have this color. So I was like, I like that. Because I think if I mix this with either just white or a blue, it would make a really nice blanket for a boy or a toddler. So I think what we're going to do is we'll do that. And this is a 4 weight, machine wash and dryable, because that's one of the first things I look at, because when you're making a blanket, you don't want to have anything that's lay flat to dry. It's just, it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Feasible, really. You're not going to spread it a big blanket to let it lay flat to dry. So it's acrylic, 75% acrylic, 25% nylon. And these are 8-ounce balls, or 227 grams, 480 yards, 438 meters. So I got 3. They only had the 3. So I got 3 of those. And I think they might make a really nice, either a granny square blanket, because you could get like the darker blue and the lighter blue and the light green. Between those and white, I think that would make a really nice granny square blanket, or a chevron blanket. So we're going to do something with that down the road. Next up is going to be the next week in the tutorial for the ABC blanket. So I haven't forgot about that. Just didn't have any time to record anything this week because I wasn't home. So I'm really thinking this, or even a sampler granny square blanket where the squares are not always the same size, because you want to be able to put them together properly. But I'm thinking a nice granny square along with one of the colors, or even a couple different colors, so you have different squares. I think that would be really pretty, right? Because like, well, no, that's not really mint green. I can't see anything offhand. A lot of my yarn's in the other room. But I think that would be really pretty and look really nice. And it would make the yarn go further too if you did like different rows, and it would highlight and make the colors kind of pop. I think that would be really good. So I got that. And you know what? This is like really soft, really soft. So if it's this soft now, and I've been noticing too, like it's been through a bit of wear and tear getting back home between being in the suitcase with other stuff. Oh my gosh, look what I'm looking at right away. There's a factory knot right there. Hopefully it's not too far towards the end. I'll just cut it off. I don't trust factory knots. You shouldn't either. Just saying, if you come across one, you're better off cutting it out and retying your yarn and weaving those ends in, because you don't want your project to fall apart on you after you wash it or whatever. Or if it's for a child, they can be a little rough dragging it around. You don't want it to fall apart on them. So I never noticed that when I was buying it, that there's a factory knot right there. But this is more, it's a thinner 4, I would say. It's a thinner 4 when I compare it to some of the other 4 weights. It does recommend a 5.5 millimeter hook. And I think that would work out well, especially if you're doing granny square. You just found it live. It started just at 8 o'clock. So you're not missing much. Just explained we were away and just some of the yarn stores and stuff. So, but I appreciate you stopping in. So this was the first yarn that we got. And I think that's going to make a really nice project. And depending on how far it goes with, if I mix in other colors, might even be able to squeeze 2 projects out of it. That would be really cute. All right. So, and then I was looking at, it's kind of like Seattle Seahawks color. If you're into the sports thing. So anyway. So yeah. So very soft, thinner weight 4, but would make a really nice big blanket, which is what we're going to do down the road. Put that over there. While we were also at Michael's, I got, this is Lion Brand Stitch Soak Scrub Nylon. And I don't know if you can see this. It's almost like it's chain link. Like that. And I just got the one ball of it. This is, it's got to be my eyes because they're making the print really small on these things. This is color Graphite. They had tons of colors. This is 1.4 ounces, 40 grams. 92 yards, 84 meters. Machine wash, lay flat to dry. Well, I'm going to make like kitchen scrubbies out of it because I have one of those like green, like really rough kind of cloths. And I've had the stainless steel, the steel wool in the past, but that starts getting kind of gross. So I just want something with a little bit of grit to it, instead of just like, I've got like dishcloths and stuff like that made out of cotton, but this is it's pretty rough. So when, I don't know what's gonna be like to work with. It recommends, 1 second, get the bifocal in the way, an H8 5mm hook, and it's a 4-weight yarn, and it's 100% nylon. So there should be enough in this to make one scrubby. So, and when you put your fingers in, it's rough when you have a bunch of it together. So I'm hoping it, and it was only, I think, $4. So if I can even get one good size one, or even a couple smaller ones, almost like a little stainless steel ball, the wool thing. If I can get a couple of those, we'll see what that's like. And it does say on this though, like if say you were making something that required more than one, it says make sure to match dye lot numbers. So it does warn you about that on the label. But it's, yeah, the light is too bright. And I'm Stitch Soak Scrub, and it's Lion Brand. Okay. So I got that. And then our son was with us, and I had made, back towards Christmas time, one of the games him and his friends in that play is Overwatch. If you're not familiar with it, don't worry about it. But there's a couple of characters that him and a friend of his, she's a girl, not the girlfriend, just a friend. She plays one character and he plays another. He got me to make some amigurumi. So anyway, there was a thing, and he's a huge Lego collector, as you can see behind me. And he really likes the Batman characters and that. So one of his, he even has a tattoo of the Scarecrow Lego minifigure. And the Lego minifigure, the head glows in the dark. So I had told him that I would make, if he wanted me to make him something, I would. And so he got me to get the glow in the dark, kind of creamy color yarn. It's called Natural or Ecru. And this is by Lion Brand as well. And this is a 1.75 ounce, 50 gram, 71 yard, 65 meter, 100% polyester, machine washable and dryable. So this is going to be, I got 2 of these to make the head. And then I'll have like, I've got tons of stuff in my yarn stash, because what you see back here, that's a fraction. Because I made all these other cubes used to have yarn in them, but I've made room for the Lego overflow. So this is going to be for the head of the Scarecrow. And then I have all the colors in the stash for like the legs, the body and stuff like that. And it'll be probably about a foot tall, if not bigger. So we'll see. So I got the glow in the dark, and to make sure it glow in the dark, we put flashlights on it in the aisle, and then we were like looking at it like this, and sure enough, it's going to grow. Doesn't he? He's pretty, I think he's awesome, right? As the person with the Scarecrow profile picture. Gee, guess who? So that's going to be for that. So that was my Michaels haul. I didn't, because I had gone to Michaels before I had gone to the hand-dyed yarn shop, I didn't want to use up too much room. So that was the purchase from there. Then I found Witchcraft. And I know I'm probably butchering this. Au fil du temps, which means over time, because knitting needles and crochet hooks are like wands, and it takes time to make a project. So it's like you're making something. This is all the yarn from that store. I don't want to say how much it cost, because it's more than value yarn, but the thing is, this is really nice quality yarn. And knowing what that it was going to be like a wearable, and that it's going to be more easily lay flat to dry, stuff like that, that it's not going to be a blanket. I wasn't as concerned with machine wash and dryable for this stuff, because this is going to be one of those times where the sweater will either be for me or it's going to be a gift for somebody once it's all done, that I wanted to put a little extra into it, because if I make something for myself, which I plan to, it's going to help, like, you know, it's from the trip. It's a thing. So let me just get all this stuff out of the bag. And one of the really nice things is when you buy the hanks, she will wind them into cakes for you at no charge. I believe there's no charge. And just for the sake of ease of packing it, I was like, no, I can wind mine when I get home. That's okay. Because I was trying to make it as flat as possible in the suitcase. So I got another card too. But again, I'm going to do a whole other video on the store and my time in there and just like some of the features that she offers and stuff, because it's quite, it was a busy little shop, and they had a lot of things that some of the selections were slim because she was waiting for new stock because she's busy. So let me start with this. This is by Katia. It's made in Italy. And it says Concept by Katia Cotton Merino. And it's merino extra fine wool and color 133. This is so soft. And it's kind of a merled. And if you can see, it has like the chain link with the fuzzy wool. And this is a DK, and I got 4 of these. I got 4 of them, with my thought being, as I said, because these were $15 a ball, a skein. They're 50 gram, 1.34 ounce, 105 plus or minus meters, 115 yards. So my plan with this is to mix it with a value yarn, whether it's like the blue, like this is going to be, I will pick either a blue or white, a cream color, that will be the main color. And then this is going to be my color work, so that I have the nice hand-dyed yarn in the sweater, but it's not going to take, you know, a good 10 to 12 of these to make the sweater, because if you get 10 to 12 of them, you're getting close to a $200 sweater. Nobody can afford that right now. Nobody could afford that ages ago. That's just not realistic. Like, if you can afford to do so, go for it. But I think this mixed with something and used as a contrast is going to make it stand out even more, and it'll make it go further, if that makes sense. Softness factor is like an 11 out of 10. It's like unbelievable. It's so soft. So that was one of the first yarns from the store. I'm going to put it back in here, because we have cats and cats love yarn, and I don't want them getting near this stuff. So that, and the thing is, this, when I go to do the sweater, I'm going to try to design it with the color work pattern, and then that'll be, when I go to bake it, I will record things as I go so that we have a tutorial to share on the channel. All right, so the next one I got, I believe they may actually be all, they're all the same brand, just different colors. This is, excuse me, this is a Canadian yarn. I don't want to undo the hank. It's Cascade Yarns, Cascade 220. And this one, none of them really have names. Oh, that was hand wash, lay flat to dry, by the way. And so it says hand wash cold, lay flat to dry. Family owned since 1987. Okay, so this is color 1007. And I have 4 hanks of these. It's a really pretty light violet, but the thing is, every now and then, because hand, you can see there's a little flecks of darker purple or darker violet, and there's no like rhyme or reason to it. It's just here and there. So I got 4 of these. I'm trying to get the stats without undoing it here. This is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It's a 4 weight, and it feels like a true 4. It does. This is 100 grams, 3.5 ounce, 220 yards or 200 meters. And the gauge, it says 18 to 20 stitches is 4 inches. So they recommend a US 7 to 8 or a 4.5 to 5 millimeter needle or hook. Or no, that's the needles. Or an HJ 5 to 6 millimeter hook is what is recommended. But this yarn is so, and it's very soft considering it's like wool. Trying to read. It's 100% Highland wool, and it's mulesing free. But again, you can see little bits of the flecks of the dark purple. I'm trying not to block the light too. Little bits of flecks of the darker violet in there. And there's some lighter sections too where the dye may not have taken as much. So it's really pretty. So again, I'll be using these and mixing it with a value yarn to make the project go, to make the yarn go further to complete a project. And these, I believe, were, I either paid 15, I can tell you in a second. Let me bring up my receipt because I know she was kind enough and emailed it to me. Let me just double check. All the Cascade 220 was $15. That's like I gotta do math. I paid $10.50 for the merino, the little blue balls, $10.50 a piece for those. So that was really good. That was on sale. So that's not a bad price at all for that. But these are 15. These were on for $15 a hank, which again, not bad at all for hand dyed yarn, if you ask me. So I got that, and I will pair it with a value yarn to make a. We're going to make a sweater or a wearable of some sort. I'll bring it to, once I get it pattern wise figured out, I'll bring the tutorial to the channel. So that's something else that's going to be coming. So, and again, for wool, super soft. I feel it's super soft. And again, a wearable, I don't mind doing the hand wash, lay flat to dry, especially when it's something like this and I know it's going to keep the yarn in good condition. But it's very pretty. I like the color. So there's that. And again, I think it'll be a color work or color block sweater so that it's easier to control how much and where you're using it, right? So that's that one. Then also the Cascade 220. Look at the color of this blue. Let me just see if it has the same stats. Yep. And it's 100% Peruvian Highland wool, mulesing free. It's a 4 weight. So all the Cascade 220's got the same stats on it. And it recommends a 5 to 6 millimeter HJ hook, or the US 7 to 8, 4.5 to 5 millimeter knitting needle. 18 to 20 stitches, 4 inches. So it's the same 100 grams, 3.5 ounce, 220 yard, 200 meters. And this was color 4009. But look at how vibrant blue that is. And again, it's hard to maybe see it on camera, but there's some sections of the blue that are a bit brighter, whereas some of the other is more muted. It's where the dye kind of took a little bit better. So there's like little sections that the color is just a little different. You can kind of see a little bit, everything's backwards. You can see the lighter here, and then there's some darker down around here. And it's not just the lighting. There's actually like a little lighter, darker sections. So I thought that maybe with like a different color, blue or black, because I think it would make it pop, or even a cream color, as this would be the color work part, whereas the main body would be something different. And again, it's a true 4-weight, but look at that color. And then I'm not going to put that away just yet, because I have another one that I got. And again, it's the Cascade 220 from Cascade Yarns. And this is color 8010. These do have lot numbers. So if you are in the store and you do go to look for it, and she checks this when she's checking you out. I hadn't noticed it when I was the light violet color one. One of my skeins was not the same color. It was not the same lot. And she's like, let me just go grab you a matching one, or find you for the same that I was getting. She said, so you're not going to run into any. I said, I didn't even notice that it wasn't the same, like, because I just looked at the color and I never even considered. So she went and she made sure I had all the right ones. So she doesn't just trust that the person in front of them knows what they've got. She double checks to make sure that you're going to be satisfied. You're not going to run into any issues when you part with your project and be like, my colors don't go together. She makes sure you have all your lot numbers are the same. It was really, like, she doesn't make it noticeable that she's doing it, but she checked and she's like, oh, wait a second, this one doesn't match. So I was very appreciative of that, because it's not like I'm just a few blocks away and can go back and say, oh, by the way, can I swap this? Which I'm sure she would, but I'm like provinces away. So it's like, the color's great, isn't it? So this is just like a cream color. So nothing too, kind of like an Aran. And I even thought, like, I was kind of like looking at these, like if I had like just the Aran value weight and then, or the value Aran, and put them together like that, that would make a nice color work. And then I got thinking, well, if I had like a different shade blue, I could even use these all together with a different. So there was that. So, and again, they were $15 a hank, which isn't that bad for hand-dyed yarn. Now, there's no real color differences visible with the ivory color, green color, or nothing that's too noticeable. But I cannot say how satisfied I am with this yarn. It's gonna, I can't wait to see it worked out. It's gonna look amazing. Now it's just to figure out a design, because I want it to be something easy to do, especially if there's something, if it's color work, if there's somebody new to color work. Once you get the hang of it, color work is not too tricky, but I want to try to have something that's maybe a little bit beginner friendly for something like that. So as you can see, I got some yarn. Now, one of the things, and I'll mention this because as I said, Claire and I, we had the store owner, we had a great conversation about the different yarns. There were so many other yarns there. Like, if I was basically let loose in a store and said whatever you wanted to get, I would have just took it all, or at least enough. They had bulky yarns. They had all different stuff. They had really nice like yarns, like if you were making like doilies and stuff like that. Like thread, like the stuff, the selection, and you'll see it in the video, because I think when because we did do recordings, but I haven't put the video together yet. When you see the videos, you're gonna see all the options. Like there's something, and they do classes, and they do like get-togethers, and they do all kinds of stuff. It's just a really welcoming. And we were Montreal, where French is the main language. There was no language barrier. She very easily spoke, when she realized we were English, she very easily spoke English to us. Very accommodating. Because you often hear, stories, oh, they wouldn't talk English to us. Didn't run into any of that. Anywhere we went, really. So, because I had said, I wish I could have got more. I said, but space is limited, and my whole yarn thing let me tell you. So I got 2 of the natural, 4 of the, it's called Heather, Lepidolite Heather. I got 3 of, so when she checks it out, the numbers must have a color tied to them. Kind of like sometimes you go to a website and you look it up and it has a name, even though on the band it just has the color, the number. So the natural, the natural one was natural. The light purplish one is called Lepidolite Heather. The nice vibrant blue one was mallard. I'm assuming like a mallard duck because part of their. And then the merino, it just says 133. It doesn't have color. So I got 2, 6, 9. I got 13 skeins of hand done yarn. After tax was $203.51. Seems like a lot. It's not like you buy that every day. It seems like a lot, but when you consider what goes into that, it's not bad, really. Like that was a pretty good price, because sometimes you see hanks of yarn at specialty shops. They're $35, $40 a hank. She did have some higher quality ones, mind you, that they were the $32, $35 range. I didn't see anything over the 32, 35. I didn't see anything over that amount. Now, when I do the video up at the store, like I'll give the link for the website and everything like that. And you can order online. And because when we were having the chat, she goes, well, if you know you want to order something, she's like, if it's $100 and up, there's free shipping. Well, that's, I know I can't get there every time I want to turn around. If I want to get something to make like a special item and I want to splurge and get that hand-dyed yarn, I can just go through the website. And if it's $100, free shipping. So you can't beat that. So very reasonable, very lovely person to deal with. And she knew her stuff. And very welcoming and was willing to talk and answer questions. She was helping other people in the store. It was great. It's not a huge, massive store, and they're fairly new. I think she said they've only been open just over a year. But it's a yarn lover's dream in there. I'll tell you that. And even my son was like, look at this stuff. This one looks like a tortilla. Oh, look, it's called tortilla. So there was some, like, even for somebody who hadn't been into like a yarn shop in that before, there was things to look at, and like she was explaining things so well. So I'm going to do a video about my time and experience at Witchcraft. Au fil de temps. Again, I'm butchering that with my French. And it was weird not working on I didn't have a project with me. So for almost a week, I haven't knit or crochet, and I thought I was going to go through withdrawal. To the point where we ended up, when we bought the suitcase, because we needed another suitcase to pack our stuff because someone bought too much. I'm like, how am I going to know that I like having something on our suitcase when we check it, that when it's coming around the carousel, I'm like, oh, there's ours. Because sometimes someone else has the same thing. It was to the point we were back at the hotel, and I'm like, I took some of the yarn from these ones and I started like trying to finger crochet a little thing to tie onto the suitcase, which I did. That was my only craft time while we were away. But it was a good trip. I wish I had gotten to other yarn stores, but just with timing and stuff like that, this was the one I chose to go to, and I'm so glad I chose to go to it, because I would have, knowing what I know now, I would have regretted if I had missed out on that one. Because sometimes too, the customer service and how they interact with you can make a huge difference in how you perceive your store experience. She's lovely. And you can tell she's put a lot into this. She's the soul, like she's the owner. She's the one that works at the store. So she's putting everything into it because she loves yarn. And as someone else who is, well, got a yarn issue, well, it's not really an issue in my opinion. She, very knowledgeable. and very willing to explain something. Like even there was one thing I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that. And then she's like, oh, and then she explained it all. And I'm like thinking to myself, you know, I wasn't going to buy something to do with that, but I was going to buy other stuff. But she was willing to, like, well, this is what this is. She just liked to talk about it, to discuss it all and explain things to people. And she was just generally happy to help, which was nice. So this week I will be doing the video for this, like where we went to witchcraft and stuff like that. There's going to be the next week for the ABC blanket. I'm going to try to get recording some other tutorials. I'm hoping to finish the Sunshine and Rainbows baby blanket and get a tutorial to you for that one. But I've got lots of things still planning. I don't really have anything changed. Oh, last week I said, oh, I might finish the sweater wrap. I did. I also broke my chair. Don't know how. Because at the end of this, I was doing something at the end of the stream. I'm like, I kept sliding forward. I'm like, what is going on? My thing on my chair broke after about 15 years. So no shame in the chair, how long the chair lasted, but I ended up having to get a new chair. So yeah, not much other than finishing off that sweater wrap that took forever, because I was right in the middle of it all when my carpal tunnel flared up. So we got that done. So I'm going to start making the next one and start recording the video for tutorial on that. Not sure on the start date of that one for when I'll start that, because I want to get that ABC blanket done and a couple other things done before we get into some of this other stuff. But there's lots going on, lots. I had to the point where I'm now starting to jot notes down for myself, because there's times where I'm like, I thought of something, but what was it? So now when I start to think of something, I either make myself a little post-it note on my phone or I jot it down on paper. So that was my week. So hopefully you guys had a great week with your crocheting or knitting or whatever craft you were doing. This week's going to be a little shorter than last week, just because I didn't get a whole lot done other than lots of shopping. If you haven't been to Montreal, I highly recommend it. Like, we barely scratched the surface of things to see. And we lucked out when we were there. It only really rained the last day. It's a day and a half. So we got to walk around a lot, and it's very hilly. I will warn you about that. Lots of hills and slopes and stuff to walk around on. I could never drive there. They're very aggressive drivers. So we either took an Uber or the airport shuttle to get around. But it was one of those things. You just did it for your trip, and it was nice. So, and tons of restaurants to choose from, tons of shopping. There is literally, if you can't find anything to do there or any stores you like, there's something desperately wrong, because there is something for everyone. So highly recommend. So yeah, coming up, I'll try to start editing the video for the yarn shopping, because there's going to be some different stuff to that, because I'm going to have to figure out how to do like a voiceover kind of thing. I may need help with that. So you know who you are. I'll have to get your help maybe. So I'll do that, and we'll get the ABC next week's tutorial done and up. I haven't recorded it yet, but it shouldn't be too bad. And there's not too much editing to those. So we'll get that done. And I know someone had left a comment about one of the next video in putting the bear together. I had that recorded and it was corrupted. So because I was making it as I was recording it, now that the recording was done, the bear was done. So in order to get, I kind of am running into the whole alphabet blanket thing again. I'm going to have to start making another bear and get to the point of the tutorials where we were, so that I can upload new videos, because I can't use the other footage. So behind the scenes, I'll get back up to where that video was. So I'll get the next set of video for the assembly of the bear parts. to do that. So we got a lot going on. There's a lot coming up. The ABC blanket, the yarn store, Sunshine and Rainbows. I'm going to make a project with this yarn for either a baby boy blanket or a taller blanket. We're going to do the sweater wrap. We're going to learn together. Well, I already know. Like, I'm going to teach you in a tutorial about maybe a beginner cardigan for knitting, just something simple. We're also going to do a knitting and color work and some basics on that. And maybe a tutorial quickly on how do you do magic loop for knitting in the round with a circular needle. I have so many things, and I know there's some tutorials out there that are great, but there's some little tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way that I'm like, well, that makes it a little easier to understand if you can wrap your head around it this way instead. So just maybe some little tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way that might help somebody else. It may be of no use to somebody, or someone else might be like, oh, I already knew that. Well, there could be, even if there's one person out there that hasn't seen it, then it helps one person. That's fine by me. If it makes your life easier, all for it. So yeah, and we still have to do the color pooling with the granny square yarn that is all back there underneath the Batman. There's that. Lots of things planned, lots of things coming. Oh, and I still have the cotton. We're going to do pot holders or different patterns for dishcloths. We may have a giveaway. I have a couple of yarn packs from Yarn Inspirations. So potentially we may have a giveaway when we reach, I might do something fun for when we get to, like, say 2,000 or 2,500 subscribers. We'll see. There's just surprises coming up too. So hopefully you had a good week. Mine was busy, but that's to be expected when you're away and you're traveling and stuff. So getting back into the swing of things and getting caught up in laundry and the such, and I'll get some things recorded and some things out to the channel. If there's anything you want to see that you haven't seen on the channel, just pop me up, leave a comment under this video. If you haven't already subscribed, it's free. Helps the channel out. Appreciate it. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always interesting to see how far of a reach things like this get. And it's nice to kind of touch base and meet other people that are interested in some of the same things. If there's a tutorial you want to see, like I've mentioned before, if it's something I can do on the channel that isn't belonging to somebody else, like their pattern, I'm more than willing to try to squeeze it in or add it to the list. All right. So have a good week. This time next week, we'll meet up again. If you come across anything on the channel that you have questions about, this is a good time to pop them in the chat. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button so you'll know when we're live or videos posted. If you've already subscribed, thank you. And I appreciate you coming back. If you're new, hopefully you'll hang around and see what else we got going on. Because there's lots planned. So anyway, I hope you have a good week. I hope everybody's well and happy. And happy crocheting or knitting or whatever your crafting is. And I will see you in the next video. And I hope you look forward to the next tutorial that's coming your way. Take care.